Hi, welcome to the 12th International Congress of the Image. My name is Sofia Sartori, and I am one of the authors of this research. The other author is Professor Regilene Sarzi Ribeiro. My goal today is to help you understand a little bit about our research, that is video art, performance, and activism, a reflection on the thoughtful and intolerable images of Jacques Rancière. This research was supported by the São Paulo State Research Support Foundation, FAPESP, São Paulo, Brazil, and it was carried out between 2019 and 2020. First, I'm going to present the introduction of the investigation. Then I will share with you the relevance and hypothesis, followed by the methodology, the study objects, and in the next section, I will show you the results that the study had. And by the end of the presentation, you will be able to understand the conclusion of this work. And when I started preparing for this talk, I was reminded of a quote from the book Performance by Diana Taylor. And the question is not whether anything can be done, but what can be done and how to do it in a way that is effective, responsible, and ethical. So now I am going to start with the introduction. And first, the subject is video art, performance records, and the relationship among feminism and activism in contemporary Brazilian art. The objective is to study the video work of Brazilian artists whose subject is activism and feminism between 2005 and 2015. The series of video arts I Don't Want to See Nothing from 2005 by Leonora de Barros, and Isto from 2013 and Rescode from 2015, both by Mariana Colares, and they were analyzed in the light of the aesthetic theory, the concepts of the politics of aesthetic from 2005, and Emancipated Spectator from 2010 by the French philosopher Jacques Rancière. The research emerged from the following question: to what extent does video art influence feminist activism in Brazil between 2005 and 2015? And this leads to my next point, the relevance and hypothesis, analyzing the concepts of sensitive politicity from Jacques Rancière and applying to the study of contemporary feminist video art, it is possible to deduce that it influences feminist militancy politically and aesthetically. And the digital activism allows the producers and the users of media content to participate together. This democratization helps a conversion of groups and people with the same interests, leading to specific causes, acquiring greater visibility. And these new forms of media influence feminism and fall into this category of specific causes too. Feminist video art emerged in the 1960s, and in Brazil it began in 1975 with the United Nations Declaration of an International Year for Women that triggered the emergency of new groups of activist women, even with the military dictatorship. And now I'd like to go to turn to the method of this research, it was qualitative, theoretical, and bibliographic and descriptive, carried out from data collection, documentary, and content analysis based on an aesthetic philosophical framework. Activist art can be identified in the second decade of the 20th century, when artists tried to break old values, and in 1996, the American collective art ensemble originated the term activism, and activist artists provoke people to pay attention to a matter that they know it's urgent. And now I'd like to move on to the study objects. They were articulated by Husserl's philosophy. The research results are presented in two parts. The first presents a brief overview of the relationship between contemporary feminist video art and the militant feminist movement in Brazil. And second, an analysis of Brazilian video art. And this leads me to the next point, that is the results of this research. The analysis was based on the concepts of intolerable image and thoughtful image of Jacques Rancière. The video for Rancière is an apparatus that provides heterogenesis, a tension between different regimens of expression. And I quote him, "The question is to know what kind of attention this or that device provokes." And another aspect of the intolerable image that Rancière speaks of is related to temporality, which is one of the structuring elements of video art too. And now let's take a look at the analysis of the video arts that were selected for this study. First, the series of video arts I Don't Want to See Nothing from 2005 by Leonora de Barros. This series of videos is disturbing in some ways, but we can relate them to the thoughtful image by Jacques Rancière, an image that suggests a thought that is not previously thought. And the series discusses feminine freedom and, without explicit images, use the body of the artist as a means to protest. And Rancière says that the artists can think about their production with the aim of creating an active spectator and influencing this urgent transportation from the passivity to the activity. It is understood that the look is equivalent to the action, so the spectator observes, selects, compares, interprets, and then connects what he sees with other things that he has already seen. Now let's talk about the two video arts from Mariana Colares. Isto from 2013 and Dress Code from 2015. Isto was produced with several women who contributed to compose the artwork with images through a social network. In these videos, the artist uses intolerable images as a shock device, directing them to a deconstruction and therefore demanding an activity from the viewer. Colares mixes reality with the glamorous world of fashion to mock and provoke the gaze of others, and she uses digital activism techniques to introduce the viewer to the production of her works. As I mentioned earlier, I am going to end the presentation with the conclusion of the research. So, after conducting this study, we can presume that video art is one of the most conductive means to influence viewers, but as Hanser explained, it depends on the viewer being prepared and emancipated for the message to reach them. The expected results consisted of verifying to what extent activist video art and performance records influenced the feminist movement in Brazil. However, we understand that affirming or denying this influence as a forceful way would be rapid because it depends a lot on the artists. But it's essential to create a work conducive for this to happen when the viewer is open and has the repertoire to understand and gets carried away by the work. This research showed how the conscious choice of media and devices such as video and the types of images an artist uses can influence and improve contact with the viewer. The analysis of the video works of the Brazilian artists were positive due to the selection of patterns referring to the intolerable image and the reflective image, which allowed us to better understand that the images permeate the two artists and works analyzed in this research. Jacques Hanser's theory allows artists, scholars, and lay people to understand how works of art, through thought and created, seeking a balance between images of different types and or contents, can reach the viewer and provoke reflections and changes. That brings us to the end of the presentation. And I'd like to summarize by saying that what is observed is that a balance between the excessive reality of the intolerable image and the reflection that the thoughtful image provokes is really necessary for the production of works such as video art and video performances that generate autonomy and emancipation of the viewer. And in the following pages of this material that is available, there are frames of the video arts mentioned here. Here are the references. These are from Lenore de Barros. These are from Mariana Colares. I sincerely appreciate that I've had this opportunity to present to you. In the material linked in this platform, the references is a list for further reading on this topic. If you would like more information or have questions, please feel free to contact me or Regilene in the emails linked in the material as well. And thank you very much.